Good morning. Today is Friday, May 1st, 2020. This week's Torah portion is the double parsha of Acharei Mos Kedoshim. And the second parsha, Kedoshim, contains the famous phrase, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, you shall love your fellow as you love yourself, about which Rabbi Akiva says that Klal Gadol b'Torah, this is the fundamental principle on which the entire Torah is based. But a very basic question is, what does it mean? Is it actually realistic? Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, I should love my fellow as I love myself. Is it actually possible, honestly, for any person to be able to love another exactly the way they love themselves? So there are two classic understandings of this, answers to this question. The first is the Ramban, Nachmanides. The Ramban says no, it's an exaggeration. It's a goal. It is not possible to literally love someone else the way that you love yourself. You will always come first in your mind, but it's an aspiration. This is what the ideal is. And we try to reach that, even though we are not going to actually accomplish it. But we try to reach it. Rabbi Sachs has said that the captain of a ship navigates by the stars. The ship never comes closer to the stars, but the stars remain the goal towards which the ship should be directed. So that's the Ramban. It's a guzma. It's an exaggeration. We work towards it knowing we will never actually reach it. The Rambam, Maimonides, has a different approach. The Rambam says that this mitzvah is not requiring a feeling, because in general it's a basic question, how can you command a feeling? It is rather commanding action. My behavior towards you should be as if I consider you as important as I consider myself. I should act towards you as if I love you as much as I love myself. There's a comment that is made famous by Sefer HaChinuch, Rabbi Aaron of Barcelona, Adam nimshach achar pu'ulasav. A person's feelings follow their actions. A person acts in a certain way, the feelings will come along. But a person should act in a certain way in order to develop those feelings. So I want to give you an example of this and tell you a great story. This is a story about the Chafetz Chaim, Rabbi Yisrael Meir Kagan of Radin. He lived in Poland about 100 years ago. And of course, the winters were extremely harsh and very, very cold. The Chafetz Chaim was very poor his entire life. One time it happened that a wealthy man came to visit him, and it was during the winter when it was very cold. And after visiting him, this wealthy man gave the Chafetz Chaim a gift of a very expensive, nice, beautiful, warm pair of gloves. Chafetz Chaim really didn't want to accept gifts. He didn't like to accept gifts from people. But this wealthy gentleman insisted, and the Chafetz Chaim accepted the gloves. So shortly after that, it happened that the Chafetz Chaim was traveling with a younger rabbi by train to another place. And the Chafetz Chaim was sitting in the train car with his coat, and he was wearing his gloves, and it started to get a little bit warm. So Chafetz Chaim took off the gloves and put it down next to him, but it still started to get a little stuffy. So the other younger rabbi, he lowered the window. He lowered the window to let in a little fresh air. But when he lowered the window, a brush of a breeze came in, and somehow one of the gloves belonging to the Chafetz Chaim flew out the window. So immediately, the Chavetz Chaim took the other glove and he threw it out the window also. So the younger Rebbe asked him, what are you doing? Why would you do that? So the Chavetz Chaim said, listen, there's going to be a fellow walking along the train tracks, and he's going to see one glove. And if it's one glove by himself, he's going to say to himself, wow, what a beautiful, warm, fantastic glove. But what use is it to me with only one? Now, the truth is, Chavetz Chaim said, it does me no good to keep a hold of that single glove either, because I also won't be able to wear just one glove. So if I'm not going to have the gloves, let me at least think about this other fellow who's going to find them, and he should have two gloves instead of having one glove. That's the mitzvah of Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, to act as if you love your fellow as yourself, which means to act as if you are that person, to place yourself as if you are that person, and to act as that person would want to be treated. That, according to the Rambam, is the mitzvah of Ve'ahavta. And at least that is something that is attainable. It is difficult, but it is at least attainable. And it's something that this week, as we review the Parsha, we should try to work on for ourselves and for others.